This is the introduction phase of this racing lawnmower quick start guide. So if you watch the preface or the pre-introduction, just went over some general ideas, some concepts of this. And like I say, once again, I have to give my disclaimer. This guide, the video can be choppy. It does. It's hard to move around and keep the camera focused. And like I say, my objective here is not to show you how I can produce high quality video. It's to focus on showing you what you'd need to do to a lawnmower to be competitive and safe, and the different things you want to do to a machine to get involved with this. So I apologize up front for maybe some of the videos. They are a little bit choppy here and there, but that's all right. So when I got involved with this, I had a friend who mentioned to me, friends and families that race together stay together, and that's a big part of this. The association, the friends and families, and he was right. It was true. I've made some good friends, and we have some good times at the track. We're still competitive, but we have some good times at the track. So what I want to do here on this introduction is just cover some key issues that you want to think about before you get involved with this. The big thing, most important thing, is what association are you going to race in? There's a number of them out there. There's the USLMRA, which is the rule set I will be following through this guide. That's what we follow as our club, and that's the baseline rule set that I'll be building to. So there's several of them out there, like I say, USLMRA, ALMRA, there's some local chapters, local clubs. So the first thing you want to decide or want to figure out is, what is the association chapter, who do they follow, and the reason for this is for the rules. You want to get a copy of their rules. There's nothing more frustrating than putting all this time and resources into a machine and making all the modifications to find out they won't let you race. You haven't met the rule set. You're too wide, your motor's too big, that type of stuff. So that's your baseline guide for this. Not what I'm doing, but what the rules are. You can take my guide here as concepts, but you want to build it to their rule set. So get a copy, contact the association chapter, the president, whoever, find out how to get a copy of their rules first. The second decision or determination you want to do is decide what class you're going to race in. There are a number of different classes, and I have seen this in our club. Someone comes down, wants to get involved, gets a machine, and he will decide to build the high-end class, like the AP or something like that. We don't have any active AP racers, so he's pretty much built him out of a class, built himself so he can't race. So the thing is you want to contact the association, find out what classes they have, and more importantly, how many different racers are in that class. How many active racers are involved in the class that you want to build to. Now, throughout this guide, in our association, our IMO is our biggest class, and so I'm going to build an IMO. The thing about the USLMRA rules as well is I can build an IMO machine, and then my son or daughter can race it in JP. So I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone. So that's what I'll be building. But those are the two most important things that you want to look at. What's the association again, and the rule set, and what classes do they have, and which one you choose to build to, so that you can have a bunch of different racers to race against. So now we want to talk cost. This is a racing event. You have to be aware of that. So in order to make your machine competitive and safe and reliable, you are going to have to put some money up to begin with. What I have found, and I've talked with other racers that have built, you can figure on average, now these are retail prices, you can figure about $300 to $400 on top of the cost of the machine. And going through this guide, what I'll do, that's what I'll be spending on this machine as we build it through this quick start guide. You got to figure you're going to spend about $125 on steering. You're going to spend about $125 on drivetrain, to make the different changes that you need, and you'll probably spend maybe $100, a little bit more on miscellaneous. So now those costs are based on retail costs, just researching on the internet, looking through the catalogs of supply stores. So of course, if you can get them cheaper, or you have them kicking around, or have a friend or relative that has them, then your costs are going to come down. So of course, your due diligence, that'll help you. But those factors were based on retail costs. When I built my first one, I just went down to the store. I don't have a discount. I don't buy wholesale or whatever. I just paid retail costs. And I spent about $400 on top of the cost of the machine. So if you compare that, though, to racing, any type of other event, that's minimal. I did that with my son's first one, and I've gotten 3 seasons out of it. So, your return on your investment there, it'll pay you back. So the other thing to think about when you're doing cost is there are people that will build custom machines for you. But you need to keep in mind as well, if it's going to cost you the extra $400, it's probably going to cost them the same. So that's something to consider when you're looking at something, another pre-built machine. You can anticipate spending probably the same amount. The only thing with having it built is, I did not factor in labor there. If someone's going to build it for you, they will have to charge you their time, their labor. So you could find having a custom built one a little bit more expensive than if you build it yourself. And I would recommend building it yourself. There's nothing more frustrating than getting to the track, running a heat, and in your second heat it breaks. And if you haven't really gotten involved with that machine and know all the different modifications, then you might find yourself with a very frustrating day because you don't know what to do to fix it. So granted, there's always builders, people to help you, but if you build it yourself, then you know how this machine works, because there are quite a bit of different modifications we make when you start moving things around to make them competitive. So anyway, the one thing that I also want to mention is anticipated time for build. This is just a general, assuming you have, tools, resources, stuff like that. But my first one, it was about 100 hours. So that was 100 hours of shop time. So you can anticipate close to that. That's several good weekends working on it. Hopefully with this guide, the one thing that I found was there was not a lot of resources. I spent a lot of time researching and trying to figure this out. So I'm hoping that following this guide, that will minimize that. Now, once you've built your first one and you've got to the track and seen what people are doing, then you'll find that, as you go farther with it, you'll find that time element can be minimized. But you can still figure, 60 to 80 hours per machine, depending on what you've got available. So anyway, what we'll do, that's our introduction. I'm just going to, recap, find out what racing association rule set you've got, where you're going to race, and determine what class you want to race in, because that's going to be your baseline rules, baseline guide for how you're going to build this machine. And then other than that, we will move on to the next lesson.